little countdown before, ever. Never used that countdown. I felt like a Mail Ann Robinson then. I did.
Been on countdown, eh?
Yeah, but she had more of a beard than I did. Well, anyway, we are Booze and Booze, part of Para-letic activities, and we are live now with the gorgeous Jolene Lockwood for Haunted Antiques.
Don't say gorgeous.
You look so tanned.
I think it's just the lighting in here. Mind you, if you'd have seen me this morning, it'd have been like I'd been whiter than Neil.
Really? No chance.
I'd have been transparent.
No chance.
Casper.
Oh dear.
Friendly girls.
Hello. You might have been able to put your hand through the screen as well at the same time. Oh dear.
I just want to say hello again to Jolene. Thanks for coming on. Sorry you didn't make the show last time because of your back and all that and all them little problems. But you've come on like a brave soldier, still full of eyeballs. You'd never guess. But here we go. Ready for a fun, full-packed show once again.
Well,
with me and Orange.
We'll laugh anyway.
Yeah, we'll have a good laugh anyway. That's the main thing. That's the main thing. So anyway, Neil, what have you been up to this week, pal?
Well, apart from nearly killing my dad twice, I went into I pulled out at the shop, went into the shop. My dad was sitting in the back of the car, right? I come out the shop, the car had gone.
In a baby seat?
It was about 100 yards down the road. I left the handbrake off and my dad was in the back. I'm pegging it down, and luckily enough, there weren't no cars that we went into, like. Oh, panic, man. Horrible.
You know what? It ain't the first time something like that's happened, especially with him anyway. But we won't go more into that. Anyway, I have new video for Lily Shore Abbey. It's just dropped on YouTube. How about that? Dropped. Drop the mic. Oh. Yeah, it's dropped on YouTube. So if you want to go over, go and check it out. It's a paranormal laughing. That's what it's all about. That's what we're about. So go and check that out. Just want to say hello to everybody who's joined the chat room. Everyone who's going to watch it now and everyone who's going to watch it later. You know what I'm saying? But Jolene, you're here from the start, but we have got another special guest and we're going to bring him out right now.
Should I be worried?
No. It is just our paranormals.
Right. We have got, it is called, I always do it the wrong way. It's Crossing the Rubicon.
Ooh.
It's a West Coast IPA, 6.9% from Drygate Brewery. Right.
Here's one I made earlier.
Yeah. It's got a deep gold foamy head, a bit like me. It's stone fruit, grassy citrus, caramel, honeycomb, pine needle flavour.
Beautiful.
I can't taste the pine needle, you know. It
sounds like Jan Harris, maybe. All them herbs she keeps unrooted from the garden.
Tell you what, I used to work in a pub, mate. Look at that.
Looks like him, doesn't it?
Want my brown pants on?
Good head, that, you know.
You know what we always say? You can't beat a bit of a good head. Let's just leave it at that, shall we? Well, you can't, can you? Let's be honest. Good head on a point. That's what I'm on about. Yeah, that's what I'm on about.
John.
Anyway, I've just had a little swig. It is a nice drink. It is quite strong. What's the percent, Neil?
6.9.
6.9%. Bloody hell, it's like mead. I would give that about a 3.5 on the old ale scale. So there you go. Yes, the ale scale. Yeah.
Jesus Christ! How cheesy is that, Johnny?
It's not cheesy. It's not cheesy.
Right.
Anyway, I've booked my tattoo, Neil.
Oh, yeah,
I have. Yeah, I am going to Ritual Tattoos on Monday with a good old Melly, and she's doing me a big, massive zombie tattoo sleeve. How about that? Yeah, can't wait for that. I tell you, can't wait.
I just had mine finished by Melly as well.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah. I want to have that that covered up.
Yeah, I'll get that covered up.
Yeah. Right. I'm going to get that covered up, like, but I'm going to wait a bit first, like, you know what I mean? It might have to put me to sleep. Because, I don't like needles, you know what I mean?
I don't like needles. I don't like anything that's important to me.
You'll be fine. She'll look after you.
I won't have a real Christmas tree, or we'll have a fake one.
And we're meeting up with Dutch Courage on Friday night. We're going to the Four Crosses in Cannock
Oh, wow.
because this new team called Dutch Courage, they go to haunted pubs and stuff like that, and they've invited us, so we're going to go and meet them. I can't wait for that, to be honest. And our good friend Alan Warman, who runs Treescapers, the printing company, have printed me another shirt. How about that? I can't see. Here we go.
Tell you what,
Brews and Brews, a nice little logo there.
for a tenner, you can't beat it. Can you?
Yeah.
Mm.
Them are mates right.
Oh, no.
And one last little bit of news is the Haunted Antiques Paranormal Research Centre. They are soon going to be doing afternoon tea and a ghost hunt for the twilight, for the early dark night, because obviously worried about opening at closing at 10 o'clock and all that kind of stuff. So that's what we're doing. And bookings are very limited. So once they're gone, they're gone.
And if you get your dowsing rod, you'll use a pair of breadsticks.
Yeah, if you forget the dowsing rod, you can use some breadsticks.
It's a great price though, that, isn't it? For the afternoon tea and the ghost hunt in the afternoon. It's like £25. It's great.
Yeah. You get some cucumber sandwiches, a big pot of tea, some nice scones and jam, and then go and find some spirits. How about that?
Nice. I'll beat that.
Yeah.
On a full
Go
stomach.
on, not that. Pac-Man, great idea.
Yeah.
Jolene, this is the moment everyone's been waiting for.
What's that?
It's now time for, now that's what I call paralytic activities.
We have to.
He does, yeah, he does. And we're going to run down the chart because we've got a new entry straight in at number 2.
Well,
So anyway, let's go. Number 10, Orbs Upside Your Head. Number 9, S-Box by Tom Bones.
yeah.
Number 8, SLS by ABBA. Number 7, Haunt Me, Baby One More Time by Britney Spears. Number 6, Scrying in the Mirror by MJ. Not MJ Dixon.
Oh.
Michael Jackson. 5, EVP by Freeze. Number 4, The Succubus by the Vengaboos. Last week, we had a ghost standing there by the Bootles, and now we've got a new entry straight in at number 2. It's Ooh-Ah, Where's My Ouija Board by Gina G. Take it away, Orange.
Do I have to?
Yeah.
It goes a bit like this. Ooh, where's my Ouija? Ooh, my Ouija board. Ooh, where's the Ouija? This is what I've been looking for. Just short and sweet, you know.
Short and sweet. Bit like me.
Well, you're short anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's straight in at number 2. Number 1 next week, the last one.
I know.
He's so over the moon with that, you know.
You know what? I'm gonna think. What do you think of any? I'm going to think of a new song.
We need a new song for the album, you see, because it's going to be Wyclef Jean. Wyclef Jean's going to take it on.
Really?
Yeah.
Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah, the Black Eyed Peas. Yeah. Well, the Black Eyed Girls from Cannock Chase. They're going to be doing it. So there you go, Jolene. We're nearly there, sweetheart. We're nearly there. It's time for Orange's paranormal fact of the day. Far away.
Right. Ghost impersonators wearing bed sheets date back to the 16th century. Back then, the get-up was slightly more convincing, as the bodies of people who couldn't afford coffins were often wrapped up in sheets on their deathbeds. Apparently.
What do you think of that, Jolene?
Each to their own sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So apparently, back in the day, the phrase "white as a sheet" came from people who used to put white sheets over the dead bodies.
Yep, I can understand that.
Yeah.
I feel like I've got one on at the moment.
I was going to say, you haven't got yours off yet, have you, Neil?
You know what? You know what? I ain't sitting on a chair, you know, I'm hovering.
Yeah. It's hovering above the ground.
There's a word for that, you know.
Anyway, we're going to do our little Ask Orange near the end of the show. Jolene, because I know you're poorly.
Yeah.
And I have got the kettleboard for a hot water bottle.
Oh, I don't need that. I need one of those steam bath things which goes through my nose. So
Oh, well.
Or a nice whiskey.
Yeah.
Vicks Paper Rub and Albus-oil. So Mark's in for a treat for later, isn't he?
Yeah.
One hot toddy, that's what you need, hot toddy.
Oh, no, tell me about that.
Everybody, here we go. Let's get on with the comments. Hi, everybody. Like I said before, There's so many people. Take me forever to welcome you all, but welcome you all to the show. Now we're going to bring in, even though you've been there all the time, Jolene, it's time for you to shine.
Oh,
Welcome, Jolene Jackson Lockwood. Neil, there you go.
Yeah, Jolene. Nice.
We're going to bring in a bit of your bad back catalogue.
Oh God.
No need for that, John.
Just a bit of your history, you know, because you've been around a bit. And so,
Thanks.
I don't mean. So we're just going to bring in a bit of your. Let me just get rid of this bloody banner because they've done my head in. There you go. So your history. Now, correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
In 2016, you was involved with the celebrity haunted hotel.
I was, yeah.
Yeah, really.
Have you got any juicy stories about some of the celebrities?
Yeah.
If you would like to elaborate, you crack on.
I'm quite diplomatic when it comes to like talking about celebrities and things like that, because it's, you know, I wouldn't want people slating me for no reason, but just let's say that some of the celebrities weren't really briefed that much, so it was quite a trying time. And I think there was one episode of me shouting at a couple of ladies, basically saying, why, you know, you've been brought on a TV show to do this sort of stuff and you're not doing it, so you might as well just go away if that's the case. So I was a bit harsh, but yeah, I just think, you know, it was kind of a bit of a mockery.
Yeah,
it was you know, they weren't briefed properly. But yeah, it was an experience. Now, John Thompson is just lovely. He's such a great character and such a great sport for the show as well. And he was getting really involved in it.
John Thompson.
But yeah, and you know, unfortunately, one of the guests was a little bit of an idiot and decided to throw coins and kind of make a little bit of a mountain out of molehill and things like that. So he kind of that left a bit of taste in everybody's mouth, because that was the first night we kind of went live.
Yeah.
So that was a bit. It was a bit uncouth, really, and I think going back, had he not have done that, then, you know, the show probably would have been probably 10 times better than what it was. But they, you know, it was trial and error, and they kind of came back for a second season, and, you know, they did it in a totally different format, and probably another format that didn't really work, because I think they wanted to try and rival kind of a paranormal celebrity kind of, you know, get me out of here sort of thing. But it didn't work out like that. And I think if they had adopted the format properly, it would have worked. But yeah, I mean, the first lot of people who we had were all right. And Chloe Madeley did really well inside the little shed that we were in. And a number of people saw what we saw in there as well, which was good.
Brilliant.
So yeah.
Was that the series when he was with Mickey York and he was throwing coins in the barn?
Yeah, Mickey wasn't throwing the coins in. I just want to state that for the record. I worked with celebrity. I worked with Alex and Mickey on the Celebrity Haunted Hotel, as well as my really good friend Barry as well. Yeah. And it was great. It was such good fun. It was really, you know, it kind of paved the way to where I am today, really.
Yeah. So we're going on to your, like I said, this is your bad back catalogue.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in 2018, you was on World's Scariest Hauntings.
Oh, you've missed a few bits.
Well, that's why anything I miss out, you just jump in there.
I got picked up by ITVs this morning to do. You see, to do a investigation with the Peter Andre, and when they were talking to me about it, they said, "Oh, we need you to go here, and we need you to go, and, you know, somebody will meet you there, and what have you." And when I rocked up, it was Peter Andre. So, you know, I was sat there a bit, you know, and he was lovely. He was so nice and quite in tune paranormally, you know, like obviously like.
Not his singing though.
No, he wasn't singing. No.
He wasn't in tune with that though.
Sorry.
He wasn't in tune with his singing.
No. He's probably going to kill me for that, but anyway.
That's his down here, Ali.
Been his mysterious girl that night.
But yeah, we went to Muncaster Castle and we did some investigations over there, and it was great. But there's no signal in Muncaster Castle at all, so it's really hard to get sort of spirit box activity or anything like that. But it was quite a great day and a great night as well. So that was interesting. And then back to you. So yeah, you come back with Britain's Scariest Hauntings.
Drake Tunnels.
Yeah, so I did that by Woodcut Media, and yeah, it was 3 days worth of filming, so that was really good. Talking about some of the great places where I've been, and then that got scheduled to be the world's scariest hauntings as well at the same time. So not just incorporating Britain's scariest places, but also the world's scariest places like the Merchant's House in New York, which is, if anybody's ever been to it, it's such a stunning little, I won't say little, but it's not little, it's quite a large mansion in upstate New York, and it's it's situated over about 4 floors, and there's still stuff in there from the 1800s when they first had the house. And talking about the hauntings that were there and actually seeing it in person was just phenomenal. It was one of those experiences that I'll never forget, to be honest.
But that was amazing, wasn't it?
I'll have to find that episode. I'll have to find it.
Yeah, it's a lovely house, and it's they only have donations as well now, so you can go to New York and you can actually go and visit the house, and you can walk around on your own accord. You can ask about the history of the place, and you can go up to the servants' quarters on the top floor, and you can actually see where they've built onto the extension of the property and where they've put the fire escape. And it's just nice just to see and feel the fabric of a building as well. So it's well worth a visit. If you ever get to New York, definitely go and see it.
Neil, will you just jot that down? Will you just jot that down, please, for me?
I got a pen.
Oh yeah. I remember it. So anyway, going on to this morning, you was on there with MJ Dix. You get a lot of shout outs on this show, old MJ does. Yeah, I think was it with Eamon or was it with Phil?
It wasn't this morning. It was GMB. It was Good Morning Britain that we were on just after we've been in the Daily Mail about the female paranormal investigators, and how it was, and how the females are not depicted enough on TV, because we've got Ghost Adventures, we've got Haunted Towns, we've got quite a lot of paranormal TV shows out there at the moment that are quite male dominated. Yeah. So it was just a case of going and being photographed for the Daily Mail, and then going on Good Morning Britain, and just having a chat about the females in the paranormal, which was interesting because I got to see Hazel Ford again. I got to work with Penny Griffiths Morgan, who is one of my really good friends. Yeah. MJ was there. There was Sally Ann Hunt as well, who was there. There was Gemma Lee Drury, she was there as well. It was just a fab day for all of us to experience at the Daily Mail, which then in turn came back for Good Morning Britain. So
super.
Yeah, so we were on there with Hazel, MJ and Gemma, and I think I found it a bit difficult to get a word in edgeways sometimes.
we know how you feel.
Yeah.
I know Ben Shepherd was interviewing us, and yeah, I caught that then.
So
you should know I like to talk anyway now.
There's probably more you've done. So, congratulations on that. And have you got anything else in the pipeline?
At the moment, I am just working on a project for obviously next month. We're doing the Festival of the Unexplained, which is a 36-hour parathon, which has a whole host of celebrity paranormal people, UFO people, not just ghosts and mediums and specters and things like that. It's a bit for everybody. And what's great is we've got quite a lot of USA guests in, and we've been dropping names each and every night since the start. So it's kind of we've got that in the pipeline. been writing a book, so I'm just in the process of starting. Well, I've started it. I'm about 4 chapters in now, and then I also want to produce a TV show of my own right. So I want to kind of get involved in that side of things as well. And I've got the ideas, and it's just kind of putting it all into motion, really. So. But yeah, but there's loads in the pipeline coming up at the moment, and I've just literally I'm going to be on a BBC podcast as well about a dramatisation of a ghost story. So I'm excited for that as well. So I'll be working with some great names in the paranormal with that. So yeah, I'm a busy girl at the minute.
You are very busy. You're a little busy bee, aren't you?
Yeah.
But a little birdie tells me that in 1999, you was part of a tribute act for Hearsay.
I was. Oh God, you brought this up. Yeah, I was. Oh God, I'm gone bright red now. You can't even see it. But yeah, I was. Well, actually, if we go back, back in 1997. I did an audition for a girl group that was in my hometown of Huddersfield, and I was teamed up with 3 other girls, and we went for the rounds of the Eurovision back then, and we did the usual tour, the clubs, all that sort of stuff. And then I got a call from a manager down from Clacton on Sea in Essex. And, Steve was lovely, bless him. And he rang me and he said, I'm just wondering, you look a little bit like Kim Marsh. So I'm just wondering if you could come down and see us. We've got a proposition for you. So I thought, this is a bit strange. But needless to say, I went down. It was coming up to the summer anyway of university. So I thought, I'll just give it a whirl for the summer. And I went down and literally he said, can you sing this song for me? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, this is the guy I want you to work with. And his name was Kamal, and he was the Noel lookalike. And I thought, this is a bit weird. And I was like, you look like Noel from Hearsay.
I think it's and
he just looked at me and he said, do you know why you're here? And I was like, no. I said, he's just asked me to sing for him. So I've just sang the Hearsay song. And he just said to me, he said, right, okay. Anyway, this Steve was rubbing his hands together and he was like, this is fantastic. He said, can you do this weekend's shows? Well, that was it then. I was picked up and we went all over Birmingham, all the way up to Scotland. We switched on the lights in Brentford. It was just like a whirlwind, really, of that time. And it was great. It was hard work, but it was great. And kind of... I don't think anybody knew that, though, until Paracon last year when I got up for the karaoke challenge and everybody was like, I didn't know you could sing. And so, yeah, it was nice. It was a bit of a blast from the past, really.
You can dance as well, can't you? I remember that.
I'm not a bad dancer. I dance like my dad, though.
Love some rough Strictly Come Dancing, we're all seeing you.
Yeah, I'm a bit partial to a ballroom dancing. I quite like that. So,
a couple of Jägermeisters in your neck. I was doing this for about 3 hours. I had Mick Jägermeisters. So anyway, let's go on to
good night, though, wasn't it? It was a really good night.
Unbelievable.
Fantastic, great night. So we're going on to now. What's now, right, in this the period we're in? So you are part of Keep Paranormal.
Yeah. I'm also the founder of Phantasmic Paranormal.
And Phantasmic Paranormal, is that still a thing, or because you don't really post much about it?
Yeah, I think personal life kind of gets in the way, doesn't it? And you can't fund the events because they are expensive. And I kind of took a step back because I was working full time, and I just kind of fell out of love with it. I didn't, I know and I respect the public, but sometimes I just wanted to investigate for myself.
Yeah.
And I got to the point where Phantasmic was great, but I just kind of wanted to be myself and on my own for a bit, and that's what I did. And then obviously started going to different events and, you know, meeting up with everybody who are my friends, who regard as my family now. And it was kind of, I wasn't attached to anybody. I used to do quite a lot of I used to do quite a lot of medium stuff for different teams. So, and I've seen that. Russ, you're a terrible man.
He's unbelievable.
Russ is one of my paranormal brothers, so I know that I can take that in good jest anyway.
Yeah.
But Phantasmic is still there. It's still in the background, and you know, I worked with Nick Groff on Paranormal Lockdown as part of Phantasmic, which, you know, is great. And you know, Phantasmic's had some great reviews over the years. And we were the you know, the first female UK paranormal team, which was unheard of back then. And we were probably one of the first guys to do the lives as well.
Yeah.
You know, obviously we'd start to do the lives a little bit more, and people got more and more interested. But obviously when you start going through a divorce and everything, it kind of takes its toll on you, doesn't it, emotionally and mentally and financially as well, because it's not cheap to do this you know, these investigations or the equipment. But yeah, I'm part of Keep Paranormal, and I'm also part of the Festival of the Unexplained as well, which is great. So I work.
We're going to come on a bit more of that later, Jolene, if you don't mind. If you don't mind.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we met at Paracon.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we did.
And we also met at Guy's Cliff.
Yeah.
Which was a cracking night.
It was a great night.
That was hosted by Keep as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And so anyway, going back to this morning, when I watched, not this morning, it was Good Morning Britain. I don't know the difference. I don't watch TV, you see. That's my problem. You did say that you was very sceptical about a lot of things on the paranormal. Can you elaborate that?
When you've grown up around, my mum's a natural witch, so I've come from a long line of mediums. My grandmother was a medium, my great-grandmother was a medium, my great-great-grandmother. So all my maternal line have had some form of spiritual kind of awakening. And when I kind of realised that I was seeing people and hearing things that weren't actually there, I actually thought to, you know, I asked my mum all about it, and she just kind of supported me, and she was really good at that. And I think it was only when I got to infant school and I was watching my headmistress walk across the hallway that I realised that there was something definitely not right with me.
Yeah.
I say not right, but I knew I was different.
She was dead, wasn't she?
No, my head teacher wasn't dead. She was. She just literally walked across the hallway, and she had this beautiful like colour around her and this glow. And I kept looking at her, and I actually said to this kid called Carl Howarth, I said, "Do you see that?" And he just went, "See what?" And I said, "Those colours behind Miss Wilson." And he said, "No." So I knew then. So I asked my mum all about it. And my mum was really, really, like I said, she was supportive and started to take me to the spiritualist church and everything. But because I've grown up with it, and obviously the paranormal, and, you know, I've seen so many people fake things.
Oh.
I am very skeptical, and I try and debunk things before I sit there and say, oh, it's paranormal. But it's also when the medium side comes out, you have to you have to kind of switch yourself off from the material world and take on the energies and the fabric of the building in order to look back into history and to what's happened. And Guy's Cliff House was one of those prime examples. I'd never been there before, and I never investigated. I didn't know which rooms were which. I didn't know where I was going. And John Tolliday did quite a lot of research about the place, and we basically I went in. But it was like a Masonic chapel. And for those of you who've never been to Guy's Cliff House, it's a beautiful chapel, but there was something that was quite off with it. And I kept saying I keep seeing children. I keep seeing children running around, and it's not the sort of place that children would have run around at that time. And it literally, I just went off literally, and everything that I was saying, and then obviously I had to go, and then I left, and then the next day it was John who actually messaged me, and he said, I cannot believe the amount of information that you gave us, because everything that you said is correct. And I'd never been there before, but that's when I kind of, when it's validated by somebody else, that's when I kind of get the wow factor. But when people deliberately fake things, and they do it for likes, for shares, for Amazon Prime, and for stuff like that, it really irritates me, because I just think there is no reason that we have to do that. That there is enough evidence out there of paranormal activity that you don't have to fake things just to put your point across, and to try and make you the biggest and the best team that there is. We're all striving for the same information, aren't we, at the end of the day?
Boils my piss, Jolene, I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I didn't really want to say that. I wanted to come across as being quite diplomatic.
I read your mind. I just repeated what you was thinking. That's all I did right there. I did.
It boils mine as well.
It boils his as well. I can feel it. I can feel the heat coming off it. Anyway, so like you say, you've been involved with the paranormal for many, many years. From when you started to now, what in your opinion has changed? Because it's changed massively since I started.
I think there is so much technology nowadays. Back in the day, like when I was 13, 14, doing the Ouija boards, and doing the aura scrying and things like that, doing the mirror scrying, all the Victorian methods that were about at that point. There was not really that much text when I was that age, but then all of a sudden, fast forward 20 years, and you've got enormous amounts of technology available. You've got laser grids, you've got the spirit boxes, which you can make yourselves, and EMF detectors and things like that. Who would have thought a general electrician's tool would be able to show you where all the electromagnetic fields are? And back then, if I'd have known that, then it'd have been brilliant back then. But obviously, hearsay's great. Hearsay's great, isn't it? You look back. We've done the hearsay bit. Yeah, I think you look back at the past, and you think, wow, this industry's come on for so much. There are so many teams out there, and they weren't any when I was 14, 15. They were very secluded. They were very elusive. There weren't very many documented teams or anything like that, like there is today. So, I mean, we were looking, I think the last time we had a look, there was around about 14,000 teams, in the UK, paranormal investigators. It's madness. And, gone are the days as well now, because I used to call myself a freak, because when people used to say, oh, what do you do? What do you like doing? I was like, I like reading about ghosts. I like, doing this. And people used to look at me like I got 3 heads. But now they're like, oh, tell me a bit more about that. So that's normal. So that's good as well.
Do you think a lot more investigators are going back to the old school?
I
think they're going to get to the point where they're just going to get sick of all the apps and all the.
To be honest with you, apps are always I don't use any apps, because I just think they're easily manipulated, because obviously it's a word bank that's stored in there. Even if people say there isn't, there's got to be some sort of manipulation on the inside of that anyway. How that happens, I've got no idea. But phones these days, trackers, they do everything, don't they? So what's to say that they can't record our voices and, throw it back at you through an app? But people are going back to their own senses. The amount of people that say, oh, I've been on a few investigations and I'm very open, and I can feel when something's around me, and I can see this, and and it's like obviously I've worked with Jane Rowley, who's just put that comment up now, and it is you can tell when people are using what they want to use for the love of it, not through just notoriety. They want to be famous, and that's using these technological gadgets, you know, like the paranormal puck, like this Ovulus, like the spirit boxes, and you know, they're so easy, you know, so easy to use. But then unless they're going to give you some sort of, you know, valid information about, you know, where you are, the year it is, and you can actually corroborate that through history books, then you know, you should always use your own senses and your own, the Victorian methods. You know, we all talk about Ouija boards being manipulated by people, and I do believe that. I do believe some people are there to do that, but you know, I'd like to think that I would trust people who are on there not to do that, but sometimes you can't be sure, can you?
Yeah. Well, we've just purchased some like just normal bells and stuff like that, you know, just so we can check them out. I mean, the last time I used an app about a year ago on an investigation, I ended up ordering a pack of 12 candles on Amazon at the same time. I don't know where they're at. So you can't be trusted. Like I say, you're tracked, aren't you? So anything.
You just wanted the romantic night, didn't you? That's all it is.
I mean, I've done a few Ouija boards, like I've never had one work. I'd love to see it actually work. You know, when I'm on the board, I just can't. I don't. It must be me.
You should use a pendulum. Buy like a pendulum.
Yeah.
And actually arrange the letters around the board to the pendulum and do it that way, and it'll swing each way. So.
Oh, yeah. I never thought of that. Yeah, it's a good idea.
It's a good idea. But I think a lot of people are going to go back to the old school methods. I really do. I can see it coming. I'm predicting it right now. Apps are going to be a thing of the past, future, past. I don't know.
I'd get down buckets then.
Past and future. I'm a bit like Doc Brown.
Nostradamus here.
Yeah, Nostradamus to call me. So anyway, so we go on to like you talked about like the bits of equipment and the apps and all this kind of stuff. What kind of investigator are you? Obviously, I know that you're a medium sensitive and you like to do the old school bit, and like you say, you don't really like apps. So, you know, where do you go with like all your kind of your mediumship when you're investigating?
Well, when you work in a public event, it's totally different, isn't it? Because you're trying to validate information for the guests. But the thing is with me is because being a natural medium, I tend to pick up on guests as well, which, you know, isn't great, because we were at Smethwick Baths with Keep again, and I picked up on this lady who was there, and I was picking up on things from her past, even though she was living, and she took everything away from that, and I kind of I don't like that, because I'm quite an emotional person anyway. I'm a very caring person, so I don't like to upset people. Yeah. And this lady cried, and that really gutted me. But kind of since then, I'm more of an inquisitive investigator. You know, I'll listen to everything, and then I'll try and debunk something. But I enjoy the spirit box. I do enjoy the spirit box, because I've had certain things happen that I physically, you know, other people have heard, and they're skeptics. So when they've heard things like that, it just blows your mind.
Yeah.
But
when we get things through the spirit box, you think, you know, we've had my name come through, my mom's name come through. We've had all kinds of stuff in it.
Yeah. Well, this one instance that I had, I was with one of my best friends, Rebecca, and her sister and her mum, and literally she heard her granddad's voice, exactly how he sounded, exactly what his name was, how many people were in the room, what my name was, and he'd passed away 10 years previously. No. So for him to say that quite intellectually was fascinating, and she couldn't believe it, and she said, I would never have believed you to this day if I hadn't have heard it myself. But also just I tend to go into places and use the skills that I've got, the medium side of things, and pick up energy, residual, but also intelligent energy as well. And I went to America just after Christmas for Christmas and New Year, and I was quite lucky to be taken to the Eloise Asylum, which is in Detroit. I'm very good friends with Todd Bonner and Jeff Adkins, who run that group, and they took me down there. And literally, as soon as I walked in, it was a hotbed of activity, residual and intelligent. And I'd been having dreams for about 2 weeks before I went, and I just moved house, so I kind of put these dreams down to the fact that I just moved house, and I was just trying to settle myself in. But all of a sudden, it was just this man was so prominent, and he kept saying to me, "There's these stairs in this hospital." So as I'm walking through, I'm describing what was happening and everything else, and I've still got the recording to this day. And I will never forget. I said, "Oh, he comes down here, he hides behind here, but he thinks that you can't get to him." And I said, and he's laughing at me because all he wanted to do was scare me. And I kept being really cocky, and I was like, "You're not going to scare me. I know who you are. I know why you're here. And I know you like to do this to other people because that's how you get your kicks." And then all of a sudden I asked about this staircase, and I said to it was Tom Posey who I spoke to, and I said to him, "Can you tell me where this staircase is, please? It's got a door at the bottom, a door at the top." I said, "There's blue and orange paint on the walls as well." And I said, "But it looks like it shouldn't be here." And literally, no word of a lie, he took this voice. I thought it was the photographer. This voice come across my ear, and he said, "I told you that." Well, I did my vet fielding. I screamed the place down, and I was like, "Oh!" And I did swear, but yeah, it was one of those, and I'm gonna post it one of these days because that was just unbelievable. Because everybody knew I jumped, but nobody had heard it apart from me. There was just me that heard it, and I'm still in shock to this day. But that's what he does all the time. And just
great,
yeah. But if like I say, if you ever get a chance to go to Detroit or anywhere like that, just definitely hit up that place, because it is a frightening place, and there's miles of corridors to cover. And Eloise itself is a little village. It was part of a mini town. They had their own farm, they had their own hospital, their own school, their own shop, their own post office. And now it's nothing. There's nothing there at all apart from just this remnant of this building and the old fire engine house.
So it's like a ghost town.
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
Awesome. Sounds brilliant. I mean, I went to Detroit once, only for like an hour. That sounds weird, but I was on a flight to Vegas, and we got off in Detroit, and I walked outside. I've never been so cold in my life. It was even the flame on my lighter froze. It was that cold.
Well, I got off the plane actually, and I thought it was going to be really cold, but it was 16 degrees, and this was just after Christmas on the 28th of December, and it was I'd packed for freezing cold, and it was mild. It was really nice.
Oh, yeah. I've never been to America.
No,
never been.
He had a holiday this year in Bilston. Yeah. The only plane he goes on is when he's taking an inch off the door.
Oh, bless him.
So fair, mate. So fair.
So, Jolene, I obviously know that you do tarot readings.
No, I don't tarot read.
Do you not?
Have you done any research?
I did. But that led me to a gag, and now you can't do the gag, so it don't.
I can't. I tried tarot readings, being a medium and everything. I tried to use cards, but they do not work for me for some reason. And every single medium's got their own tools that they use, and for me, cards just don't cut it anymore. So I tried, but I failed miserably.
But I must have saw it somewhere. But Neil knows a reader, and he's from the Midlands. Is his name Neil?
No, what it is, he was like a comedian, but he used to do readings as well. He used to call himself Jasper Tarrant. No, man.
Oh dear.
At what age did you realise you had these this kind of gift that you've got?
I was about 2 or 3. I was having a conversation with my grandmother, who sadly passed away a week before my first birthday, and I was having tea with her with my little tiny china tea set, and I was talking to her, and my mum started to ask me questions, and I was answering these questions, and that's kind of when my mum realised. I realised more about 5, 6 when I was at school and seeing all these colours, and then obviously got to about 10, and my mum had a my mum had a serious car accident as a family, and I kind of I basically lost everything for about 3 years, and I literally, I don't know, for 3 years I kind of felt a bit lost. And then Kyle Grace, I love the pictures of them, so you know I do look at the pictures, but I don't read the pictures, so to speak. But
there's a card war going on at the minute.
I know. So with regards to that, I kind of we moved house when I was 13, and I just remember going into my bedroom and seeing a lady half in my TV, and I said to my mum, "Who's this lady?" I said, "She's given me this name," and I had to write the name down because I couldn't pronounce it. And it turned out to be the owner of the house prior to us moving there. But also that year, I saw what I thought was a nun in our school with a good friend of mine, Pippa, and we were literally going into photography, and she gripped my hand so tight and she said, "Can you see her?" And we looked towards the bottom of our school, because we used to go to it was called Royds Hall High School in Huddersfield, and it used to have a small square concourse area, and it used to be an old hospital back in the day. And in this concourse area, there's a garden right in the centre of it, and then 2 glass corridors, and then what used to be the old history corridor where it had all the old stone steps and everything. We all know that stone houses, you know, energies and things like that from the bygone years. And this woman just stood there, paused, looked at us both, and then just disappeared into the girls' toilets. And we walked into photography, and Mr. Harris looked at us both and said, "You all right? You look like you've just seen a ghost." And I was calm as day, and I said, "We have." And he couldn't believe it. And you know, there were so many ghost stories about the school and everything. And you know, I'm glad I can say that I've actually seen the nun, or the nurse, actually, as she was now known, the nurse of Royds Hall.
Yeah. Have you ever investigated it since, Jolene?
With it being a school, I've not investigated it. I would love to investigate it because it used to be a big house as well. But even the old sports hall, they've seen their fair share of heart attacks and things like that there. So it probably would be great. But I know the local councils don't really like you going into schools and places like that. You know, like the private schools, I'm guessing they probably would let you. But obviously, like anything, there's a fee attached to it, isn't there?
Yeah, it is, yeah. So we want to move on to now the, I know you mentioned it before, the Festival of the Unexplained, because it's a massive event you're involved in. What's your involvement in it? What guests have you got coming up? Subjects? And when is it? That's the main thing.
Oh, what guests? How am I involved? Being part of Keep, obviously Karen has been going through her illness, and you know it kind of became apparent when we did the first one back in August that it was quite a lot of work just for one person to do, and Karen does an amazing job. And John and I kind of stepped in to do a few of the interviews, and I love doing the interviews because I like talking to people and I like finding out about people. And the one in August was really, really successful. So it came about that we decided we wanted to do another one, but we decided that this next one had to be bigger and better than the August one. So the cogs were set in motion. We were going to host it in September, but we thought, why not wait until October, and we'll do it the week before Halloween, so that people, obviously, it's great because obviously now we know that COVID's about, then, you know, it's put a damper on all of the events, hasn't it? So, you know, we sit there and we're all calling COVID a nightmare, but, you know, it might have done us a favour, really. But the Festival of the Unexplained, I've helped with gaining some of the guests, some of the celebrity guests. So we have got a really, really big name in the paranormal, and he's not been announced yet. So I'm very, very happy that when that gets announced, you know, I can quite rightly say I did that. But we've got Sarah and Phil Wyman on. Sarah's a really good friend as well, and we've got Penny on. We've got Haunted Towns on. We've got, you know, anybody who is anybody in the paranormal, we have them on. And, you know, the lovely Jane Harris is going to be on, Barry Guy as well. And, you know, I'm so excited for it. It's 36 hours, you know, over the weekend of the 24th and 25th of October. And it's basically going to be a who's who. And the beauty of this online online festival is that it's free. You know, there are people out there charging for these sorts of events. And this isn't, it's free, and we're giving something back to the paranormal community. And I just think it's a great idea, and I'm very proud to be part of it as well. And, you know, I work with some great people, John Tolliday, Russ Bevan, you know, Dennis Glenn, Karen, Eddie, Gary Fields. They're all fantastic. But, you know, we all bring something all together all at the same time. And it's great to watch us all work together. But it's not one to be missed. That's all I can tell you. It's going to be fantastic.
Sounds awesome, that does.
Well, anybody who watched the last festival of the Unexplained, it was on all day and it was fantastic. I'll catch as much as I could. So if you are free that day, give it a watch.
It's great because we've got it on so many platforms as well. So we have it on Facebook. We're going to have it on YouTube. We're going to have it on our website. So the festivalunexplained.com. It's going to be across so many different platforms, but it's also interactive. So, you know, if there are people on there that you want to see, you know, we want you to ask them questions, because you might not get a chance any other time. And that's the reason why we did it, is because we knew that people were asking the questions. We knew that people wanted something a little bit more. And because we can't do it physically, the next best thing was to do it virtually.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be fab. So you need to tune in.
Yeah,
but
tune in on that day.
Yeah.
So the date is the 24th and 25th of October, and it starts from 10 o'clock in the morning and it will run right through to Sunday night. So if the USA people are your favourites or anybody like that, then make sure you tune in. And if you do happen to miss anything, you can catch up at any time on YouTube and also going back through the Facebook page.
Yeah, Karen, if you can post any links, that'd be great, or even put it on our page as well. And we'll share the shit out of it.
We'll share this.
We'll share the shit out of it. We will.
But
Jolene, an hour's nearly gone. Can you believe that?
No, well, you know what I'm like. I love to talk, don't I? So,
so we've got one little fun time question for you before you go.
Go on then.
Right. Oh, Mike, squeeze in two. You can have a dinner party.
Yeah.
With 4 paranormal guests.
Okay.
In any location of your choice. Who would you choose, and where would it be?
Okay. Can I have dead or alive?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I would choose Harry Price to start off with.
That's not in one direction. Can you just explain to me?
I would build Borley Rectory again to house the dinner party in. I would. Who else would I have? I'd like Diane Pritchard to be there as well from the East Drive Hauntings.
Yeah.
I would like paranormal investigators.
You are in the team, you know.
No, but do you know what? I have dinner with them all the time.
This is a one-time opportunity. You know, you don't only try down on a sacred holiday, do you? When you
I'd like
someone else.
I'm gonna say the Dustin Parry from Taps as well, because he's quite technology minded. But also I would love oh God, that's a good question, because I've never done that before. But I would also like Dakota Layden as well there, because he's up and coming at the moment. He's he's a hip young guy and what have you, and Jack Osborne as well, because I reckon he'd inject a bit of humour and a bit of fun into it. So
Sounds like a great night.
I think it would be, to be honest. There's no females in there, though, is there?
Yeah. It's Sharon Osbourne.
Oh, she could come along for the laugh, couldn't she?
One last question then, Jolene, before you go. You could have a chat via a Ouija board or a spirit board or whatever with a dead celebrity. Do you like that?
Yeah.
Which is a celebrity who's passed on.
Yeah.
Who would you love to be? And what would you ask them?
James Dean.
Oh, yeah.
I would ask him because there's all stuff surrounding his death that hasn't been uncovered.
Yeah.
And obviously he died in a car accident, but I would like to ask him what happened prior to that, what made him, what made him drink, what made him do what he did, and was it deliberate? Because there's been reports out there that he could have potentially driven off himself and what have you. So I'm very I like crime, and I'm very like criminally minded and stuff like that, so I'd like to do that, but I don't know, it's any dead celebrity. Well, the people who are murderers aren't really celebrities, are they?
No.
Well, these days.
I would like to ask some dead murderers some questions as to why they did what they did.
Yeah.
Because there's been quite a lot over ITV at the moment, hasn't there, with Des and Fred West and things like that. So, yeah. So that is another thing that I'm quite interested in is understanding why people do what they do.
Yeah. Yeah. John Lennon's killer apologised down to Yoko Ono and said why he actually did it. He wanted to make himself more famous, basically.
Yeah, and I think you find that though, don't you? People just do the most horrific things for notoriety.
Yeah.
And there's no reason.
Shocking.
Well,
Absolutely
people are psychopaths for a reason, aren't they?
Yeah.
Des Lightning. Yeah. Russ are just cracking gags. Jolene, time's up. The hour's gone like that. We could have had a 2-hour show because I've missed that many questions. But sometimes that's the way it goes, isn't it? When you're having fun. I
should have told you needed an hour and a half.
we could have done 2 hours, easy.
Make it 3.
Easy. Maybe we could get a part 2 area. You never know.
Or a box set.
Or a box set, yeah. Jolene, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you, guys. It's been lovely as well. I've had a great laugh with you, and I'm sorry for my bad jokes.
Get over the flu and get your back sorted.
Yeah, I will do, definitely. Hopefully you will do, and hopefully I'll be on an investigation real soon wherever you guys are.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. We'd love that.
Okay. Thanks everybody for having me as well.
You've been a star.
Yeah, and check out the Festival Unexplained.
Yeah,
definitely.
Jolene will be on there, strutting her stuff.
Yeah.
Cheers, Jolene. You take it easy.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right.
So that was our Jolene.
Aye.
God, she can talk, can't she? Well, do you know what? She's got so much information, so much knowledge. Me and him, we just sat there like nodding dogs. Nodding dogs, that's what we do.
Oh, yes.
But what a superstar. What a superstar. Like you say, we could have had a 2-hour show. Unfortunately, we only get an hour. Neil's forgot to put 50 pence in the meter, so the lights are going to go off. So anyway, but we've got time for a quick Ask Orange, Neil.
Yeah.
Time for a quick Ask
Go
Orange.
on then. Fire away.
Fire away.
On away, boy.
When I find it. Anyway, we have our little website where there's a little section called Ask Orange. So people send in little questions, and we've got a question from a Galen Ross. Galen Ross, Neil? I don't bloody know. What are your thoughts on a zombie apocalypse?
Zombie apocalypse?
A zombie apocalypse. That's what she wants to know.
Something. I love zombie films, stuff like that, but there's not. Zombies don't exist, really. I don't upset you. Right? You
haven't saw Morrison's on a Wednesday morning.
If they did exist, right, they come round our area. They want enough brains to feed them anyway. To be honest, they starve to death, the poor gets.
I walk round Binky on a Wednesday, see all the old deers trundling around, and that little song goes in my head. Oh, the zombie apocalypse has started.
Yeah.
I think every Wednesday.
Yeah.
Have you heard of zombification, Neil? Do you know what that is?
Wasn't that a song by the Red Chili Peppers?
No, that was Californication.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was. Zombification is they used to do it in places like Haiti and stuff like that.
80.
Yeah, Haiti.
You know, I'm gonna tell you something now, right?
Go on then. I'm all ears.
My mate's dad, he was 99 at the time, right? And his birthday was coming up.
Had a good life.
Yeah, he loved darts. And he went to 80. No, why? He wanted to be 180.
Nice little dart joke there for you. You won't get that anywhere else, I'll tell you. Not any paranormal shit. You won't get a dart joke. I guarantee you that. Yeah, it's all voodoo and stuff like that. You know. Yeah. He'd live and let die and zombification. So it was like a poison. They'd ground it with bones and stuff. They'd give it to someone. They'll pass out, but the mind is still working. And they used to bury them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they're virtually dead, but the mind and they can see everything. And that's why they'd crawl out the ground. Because they're still alive.
Really?
And that's where it come from, zombification. Well, so already, anyway. I should have Googled it.
Should have.
Anyway, another question. David MG. Do you believe in the afterlife? And why, if you do?
Afterlife.
The afterlife?
You know what? I do actually believe in afterlife, right? Now myself, if there was such a thing as an afterlife, I'll come back as myself. But, right, I do, because when I really strong believer in deja vu. You know, sometime I've been here before. You know. About 90% of people have had that.
Yeah.
Right. And I do believe that you've been there in a different life. Whether you was a cat, a dog, a frog, a fox. You know what I mean?
I had deja vu recently, I did.
Really?
I had deja vu recently, I did.
Really?
I had deja vu recently, I did. We could go on forever. We could go on forever with that one. Yeah, but I did have deja vu recently, Orange. I did, yeah.
Really?
Oh, for God's sake. Anyway, Richard France wants to know, have you ever seen a shadow person, Neil? Have you ever seen a shadow person?
Last time I seen a shadow person, I was watching Gladiators. Apart from that, no, I ain't seen a shadow person. And if I did, I'd probably try and catch him out, you know what I mean?
Probably got an earthquake going again, Neil. Got an earthquake going.
Oh, where?
You keep knocking the table.
Oh, sorry.
Well, since I've been doing all this paranormal stuff, I always see shadows at the corner of my eye, at the peripheral, the vision and stuff like that. And they're always in the background, just watching. So I'll call them the watchers. So to me, the shadow people are more watchers. They just stand there watching, you know, seeing what you're up to. Shall we get involved or not? And that's why I see all little things that's corner of my eye. I think the more you do the paranormal, the more you open up to it, if you know what I mean. Anyway, so shadow people, do they exist? Who knows? Who knows? Cliff Richard was in the shadows.
Really?
He was, yeah. And does anybody know that Cliff Richard was actually in jail in 1976?
Really?
Yeah. Have you never heard Word for Sound? Max and Paddy 2004.
Bet someone got that guy, so
I know, yeah. Anyway, we had a lot more to add to the show, but unfortunately, we've already gone 2 minutes over. Thanks, Jolene. You're an absolute star.
Fantastic.
So we're going to leave you to it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining. And remember, if you are investigating this week, COVID providing, and you don't get no spirits, do what we do. Drink them instead. Bottoms up.
Yeah.
I'm John. He's Orange. And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Right. Well. Anyway.
Anyway. Thanks, Sue. See you all later. Any comments you've got, we'll answer them because we haven't had time.
Yeah.
Take it easy. Jolene, you're a star.
Fantastic,
Speak to you soon.
Jolene.